Good afternoon. I'm Contact 5 investigator Michael Buczyner. Thank you so much for joining us. Along with us is a man who works behind the scenes that many people don't get to see. This is Erik Altmann. Thank you for joining us this afternoon as we take a look back at some of the stories we've worked on with the rollouts of the COVID-19 vaccine here in Palm Beach County. We've told a lot of stories of frustration. A lot of people struggling to figure out how they can go about getting this. Erik has worked alongside the team, Dave Bowman and myself, and the photojournalists on these stories. Erik, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I know a lot of folks at home, anybody who's tuning in on our platforms probably don't recognize me. You don't really see me on TV very often. I'm more of a behind the scenes type of guy as the investigative producer for Contact 5. But to Michael's point, the vaccine rollout has been something we've been focused pretty heavily on since the vaccine distribution started in Palm Beach County in, I want to say, late December. So it's been something we've been keeping our eye on and reporting out on pretty frequently just to hold those accountable who are responsible for the vaccine rollout. Michael and I were talking about this earlier today. One of the first stories that we did that really kind of popped out, in my mind at least, with some of the hiccups and some of the issues with the vaccine rollout, specifically to Palm Beach County, was about the town of Palm Beach receiving 1,000 vaccines.
Yeah, we started hearing about this. We started seeing some news releases about this, and it came at a time where people were just struggling to try to call a phone number that was failing. And I believe at the time there was perhaps that email address, but we decided to dive into this and to take a look. And what you're going to see in the story we're going to play, the health department here in Palm Beach County, the Florida Department of Health in Palm Beach County, we asked them, and lawmakers actually asked about these vaccines and how did 1,000 of these vaccines end up in the town of Palm Beach? Let's take a look at the story and then we'll talk about it on the other end.
Many of you have reached out to WPTV wondering if some communities are getting the COVID-19 vaccine ahead of others.
Palm Beach County's top health leader blames a, quote, miscommunication as a reason why 1,000 doses were sent to Palm Beach Island.
Tonight, a state lawmaker tells Contact 5 investigator Michael Buczyner she wants to know more about the department's plan to fairly distribute vaccines.
At this point, this is life and death for a lot of our seniors.
State Representative Emily Schlossberg tells Contact 5 she plans to ask Palm Beach County's top health official how the Department of Health is distributing COVID-19 vaccines after 1,000 doses went to the town of Palm Beach for town residents over the age of 65.
I really don't know what has played into the shipments getting to Palm Beach, the town of Palm Beach. But, we need to equitably distribute these vaccines throughout the entire county.
That we didn't have enough vaccine to do it.
Schlossberg's concerns come just days after Dr. Alina Alonso, the director of the Florida Department of Health in Palm Beach County, told Schlossberg and other state lawmakers about a miscommunication with her staff involving 1,000 doses of the vaccine. Here's how she described it to lawmakers without naming the town of Palm Beach.
This particular city was ready to do it. They called my staff. We need 1,000 doses. We're ready to do it. We have appointments. We have it set up. We have everything ready to go. They were given the vaccine. The next day, I sat down with our partners at the county and emergency management, and we looked at our vaccine and what was coming and the uncertainty of having enough vaccine. And we said, we cannot do that. We don't have sufficient vaccine to give all the cities that want to do this. So we stopped. But they had already gotten it.
Dr. Alonso also told lawmakers that she takes full responsibility and that she didn't communicate with her staff fast enough that her department didn't have enough vaccine to do it. The town's fire chief said in a January 10th letter that they contacted the Department of Health December 30th, and to their delight, were able to secure 1,000 doses. The most recent numbers available show 355 cases and 12 deaths specifically for the town of Palm Beach.
My constituents have been looking everywhere for these vaccines. And would be a big deal for my constituents to get these vaccines.
But these were shipped off to Palm Beach.
But they were shipped off to Palm Beach for Palm Beach residents only.
In Palm Beach, Michael Buczyner, WPTV News Channel 5.
All right, back with us. So you heard there from the Director of Health, Dr. Alonso. She described this, as a miscommunication at a time just a short time ago when people were just scrambling to try to find this vaccine.
Right, and I think one of the things you and I have talked about it is that, the town asked for the vaccines and they got the vaccines, and so they had an obligation and a duty to inoculate their residents. Our focus with our reporting was not on necessarily the town getting the vaccines, although obviously, Representative Schlossberg, State Representative Emily Schlossberg, and other folks raised concerns about equity with the vaccine distribution, given that this particular town is one of the wealthiest towns in the area, and they got the vaccine a week and a half before a lot of the other local towns started getting it from the Department of Health. But our focus was more on the miscommunication and how does a department have a miscommunication like that? Alonso explained that to state lawmakers.
I think it's a very important point you make there. As we've talked about, this isn't about the town of Palm Beach. This isn't about the great work of fire rescue in the town of Palm Beach to inoculate these people. The point of our story is the accountability into how could something like this happen. This is the biggest health crisis that obviously we have ever faced here. And it's, we are trying to take a dive into this and to try to understand how this could happen. Just so you know, we're not finished with the story. I think there's still many more questions about the events before and after the vaccines went to the town of Palm Beach. So we're going to continue to dig into this, and please feel free to reach out to us. We have our email address. You can see at the bottom of the screen, contact5@WPTV. So it's important, obviously, when we hear from you, the viewers and people in our community, when you're able to share information with us or share those important stories that need to be told in our community. And I guess that kind of segues into the next piece here, Eric, that we wanted to talk about, we wanted to share with people. And that was, Dr. Alonso was saying there were very big problems with the rollout here in Palm Beach County. She made that comment to Palm Beach County commissioners.
Yeah, she made that comment the next day after our story aired. She did address the miscommunication with the town of Palm Beach as well. But the next day, she admitted there were very big problems. This was at a time where the county lacked any sort of web portal for online registration for the vaccine, while other counties did have successful web portals built within Florida. The phone number that we had created, Palm Beach County, had created, had crashed. And so the county was relying on an email address, which commissioners were raising concerns about when Dr. Alonso was addressing them, saying that, it's a confusing email address. They're hearing from their constituents saying, we're not getting responses. There's not any sort of automated response. And the backlog continued to grow. And I know you had spoken with people, Michael. Our other Contact 5 investigator, Dave Bowman, actually did a story about residents of Palm Beach County who were finding it easier to travel out of the county to get vaccinated elsewhere, traveling south to Miami-Dade, traveling north. They were able to get out of the county and get vaccinated, get an appointment for a vaccine within a day or two, while our backlog at last check sits at 200,000 plus residents, to the point where they actually recently said they're shutting the email address down to catch up on that, which we'll talk about a little later. But that got you and I talking about, why don't we have any sort of web portal, which you had reported actually on January 5th that the county was testing one.
Yeah, that's right. We had reached out to a spokesperson at the Department of Health here to ask. On their website, they had advertised that there was some type of system that they were testing at the time. And all of our stories, just about all of them, you'll hear the same question that we asked. And the pandemic's been here for a while. It's been here since mid to late March, if not sooner. So the question is, why weren't they more prepared, technically speaking, for when that vaccine would arrive here in Palm Beach County and how they would disperse it, knowing that there's about 400,000 seniors that call Palm Beach County home. So we decided to take a closer look as to what happened, as to why we never saw any type of registration portal or any type of website where people could go and put their information and schedule. As Erik said, we had this phone number that crashed because obviously you had tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people calling. Then we had an email address that many seniors we spoke to found extremely confusing to use. I can recall even on the website that the health department uses, they try to spell out specifically that there were no hyphens, and of course the email address there. So we have another piece that we want to share with you, kind of taking a deeper look at this portal or some type of software system, and what happened to it.
I think they're putting my life at risk. That's how I feel.
The frustration is real.
I feel that I've made it this far in my life. I don't want to lose it to a stupid virus.
Stories of seniors struggling to schedule an appointment to get vaccinated against COVID-19. A single email address, their only option, after a single phone number crashed. A spokesperson with the Florida Department of Health in Palm Beach County told Contact 5 on January 5th a new web-based portal was in the final stages of testing. The department's website at the time mentioned transitioning to a web-based appointment system. So what happened? Contact 5 has learned the system failed in another county January 4th due to too many requests 15 minutes after it launched. That software, a DOH spokesperson says, it's Microsoft Bookings.
Is Microsoft Bookings something that you would expect a government agency to use?
Not at all. Very bizarre to use that.
We asked WPTV News Channel 5's internet and security expert, Alan Krowitz, about the software.
This is a great example here. We can see individual things for one person.
And its intended use.
It's designed for a booking here and there for, like I said, an individual or one firm. But to have mass bookings, it's not exactly designed for that purpose. It's a bit like putting a square peg in a round hole. In the real world, all these kind of programs that run in the cloud need to be tested for volume.
I think the rollout in Palm Beach County has been a complicated process.
Contact 5 also brought this story to State Senator Bobby Powell, who told us this.
At one point, I was told that there was a portal.
You were told. Do you mind me asking by who?
Well, that came directly from the Department of Health.
In Tallahassee or here?
No, here.
Here locally?
Here. It was my understanding there was a portal.
Do you plan on looking into this to figure out what happened here?
Absolutely.
In West Palm Beach, Michael Buczyner, WPTV News Channel 5.
Okay, so you saw that story there, and I can tell you that we will follow up with State Senator Bobby Powell to ask him if he indeed looked into this and to try to figure out if he can get any information and ask some questions about what happened here. Pretty evident, though, that apparently some kind of software was tested that led to many problems. We can also tell you the healthcare district here in Palm Beach County was announced during a news conference, I believe a day or two ago, said that they are now working with the health department to sort through that list of 200,000 seniors using software, it sounds like, on their end to help communicate and reach out to some of those people on that list to begin making appointments.
Yeah, and also, I mean, that 200,000 people, right? That's a massive backlog. Dr. Alonso has said that the county's only getting 4,000 vaccines a week right now. A week. So if you do the math, just for one dose per person, that's a 50-week-long process. And that's not including the booster shot. If you include the booster shot into that factor, that is 100 weeks to vaccinate the current backlog within the county. Which, so you can see with some of the seniors we've spoken with who have been frustrated and who have ended up going out of county and had much better success at getting vaccinated, you can see why they're making those decisions under these circumstances. It's not unreasonable to have some degree of empathy for that and understand that, if they feel like they're not getting the results here, they're going to find results elsewhere.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but obviously some help came to Palm Beach County. Thankfully, a week after Governor DeSantis came here to speak with Palm Beach County Mayor Dave Kerner. and Palm Beach County Administrator Virginia Baker, and that is obviously with Publix contributing. So the hope, obviously, and the thought is that more vaccines will flow in and give better access, to our seniors here in Palm Beach County. So hopefully we'll start to see maybe that backlog start to, decrease a little bit. We also decided to take a look at, what plans were in place here to deal with this. And I know, Eric, this caught your attention as well.
Oh, absolutely. We'd reported on the statewide plan. I want to say late November, early December, when the first round of vaccines was going to the FDA for approval. My colleague Matt Cesny, one of our great reporters, he had done a story and he included some of that information. The state had submitted a pretty basic distribution plan that included 3 phases, the rollout, which groups would be in each phase, and how we would transition from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3. So it had some pretty basic plans for how we prioritize the vaccine distribution throughout the state. So we knew there was a statewide plan. But Michael had spoken with some lawmakers who had said, we were told that there was a local plan that was created for distribution here. And so that's where we thought, okay, so let's take a look at that local plan. What's that local plan look like? Who are the hospitals that they're partnering with? Where are the vaccine sites? What are the dates? Who are they hiring, to answer these emails, to answer these phone calls, to schedule these appointments? What is the plan for distribution on the local level?
Yeah, I think there's obviously, you just said when we sat down with the state lawmaker in the story you'll see in a minute, she was talking to me about the logistics involved in this. And as you said, who's going to respond to emails? Who's going to answer phones? Who's going to schedule appointments? All of the pieces that would go into ensuring something like this is able to run smoothly. So Eric reached out to the state to ask, or I should say the Florida Department of Health here in Palm Beach County, to ask about their local written plan. And we got an answer, I think it's fair to say, that maybe surprised us. But let's take a look at the story that we just aired that addresses that, and we'll talk about it on the other end.
I'm anxious to get on with my life. I don't know how much more I have left.
Susan Green is ready to once again live her life.
I have a cycling trip planned. I have a hiking trip planned. None of these things can happen until I get the vaccine.
Green spoke with Contact 5 just moments before she left her West Palm Beach home. The 81-year-old grandmother forced to travel more than 60 miles to Clewiston to get vaccinated against COVID-19. She says she couldn't get an appointment here in Palm Beach County.
We knew for some time that a vaccine would arrive. Were they prepared?
No, they weren't.
Hearing senior stories of frustration, Contact 5 asked the Florida Department of Health in Palm Beach County for a copy of its written plan to distribute the vaccine. Our request came after a failed phone number and a confusing and now deactivated email address left some seniors feeling helpless and scared. We recently asked Palm Beach County's top health official, Dr. Alina Alonso, about a written plan as she left a meeting with state lawmakers.
What kind of efforts went in for preparation to roll out this vaccine?
We've been preparing and ready for several months.
Is there a written plan?
We have our strategies, which I outlined today.
State Representative Emily Schlossberg says she also asked Dr. Alonso for the plan in December and was only provided with strategies.
Is that sufficient for you?
No, they should have provided us with some type of plan where they're going to put our vaccination sites and how long they're going to be there and how the distribution is going to operate.
A spokesperson at the Florida Department of Health in Palm Beach County told Contact 5 that the state vaccine plan is the only plan that exists and couldn't provide us with a local written plan for a county of nearly 1.5 million people. The health department referred us to Dr. Alonso's comments to county commissioners last week.
At 81, seriously, how many years do I have left? And to lose a whole year already, I resent that. If it's because of the incompetence of the people that I look to provide the care I need.
In West Palm Beach, Michael Buczyner, WPTV News Channel 5.
And you could hear the frustration there, and Susan's voice as we told in the story that she drove 60 something miles out of Palm Beach County to go get that vaccine, and that's a story that's been replaying across the area. And Erik, if you want to jump back in here, you heard me ask the specific question in there about this is something, as we said earlier, that they knew would arrive one day, that this vaccine would have to show up and they would have to inoculate the residents here. This was something we watched when the testing, when Corona arrived in our community, we noticed early on that there seemed to be a bit of a lag, if you will, as compared to other counties when it came to testing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, if you think about it, right, like the pandemic hit us like a ton of bricks. It caught the entire nation off guard. So naturally, to scale up for testing for coronavirus last spring was a daunting challenge. Nobody was prepared for that. No agencies, whether we're talking the federal government, state, local, everybody was caught off guard. So everybody was essentially winging it. Everybody was it was trial and error. Michael had reported on some of the issues with setting up testing sites last spring. So we understand that was a challenge for everybody. But I think one of the things that we kept hearing from seniors in the community, from some lawmakers, was we had months to prepare for the vaccine rollout.
Yeah, and I think some of the frustration when you speak with our neighbors, the seniors who live in our community here, is how could we only just have a phone number that eventually didn't work? How could we only have this email address? Why didn't we have other options? And I think that's what's leading to a lot of this frustration. And looking forward, things seem to be moving and progressing here. I can tell you. And speaking with some state lawmakers, they're telling us that people are getting appointments now, people are getting vaccinated, that progress here in Palm Beach County is starting to happen. So of course, that's good news. And that's something that we're going to follow as well, as as we reported that number of 200,000 people on that wait list was growing, and essentially that email address has been temporarily deactivated as they try to work through that list. But again, state lawmaker telling me just a couple of days ago that they are happy to hear that there is progress that's being made. Obviously, Erik, as we discussed earlier, Publix now in Palm Beach County offering to vaccinate our residents at, I believe, 67 locations. Although, some concern from Palm Beach County Commissioner Melissa McKinley earlier this week about her region here in the county and ensuring that this vaccine is distributed equally throughout the county. And that's something, of course, that I know we've been, keeping an eye on as well. You can see the breakdowns from the state of, how this vaccine is being distributed to people as well.
Yeah, that's just it. They've put out statewide demographic numbers in a daily vaccination report that they release. So they release a daily vaccination report. It includes a county by county breakdown of how many people have been vaccinated, both initial dose and full vaccination regime, as well as demographic numbers for statewide. But we haven't seen county by county numbers for demographics yet. So that is something that we are pushing forward, interested in seeing what the demographic breakdown is, in particular for Palm Beach County, and interested in seeing if, it is equitable, and it's in the process of releasing the vaccine and getting different communities inoculated against the coronavirus.
Yeah, so it's our commitment to you. We will continue to keep an eye on this and to watch this diligently. This is obviously, as we said, the biggest health crisis that hopefully we will ever face in our lifetime. Although some of our neighbors who are a bit older, including one woman I spoke with, remembers living through polio. But it's our commitment to you that we will continue to dig in, to continue to ask the tough questions here, dig for the truth, and to hold the officials in Palm Beach County responsible as we continue to watch this progress. And I guess most importantly, hope everyone stays well and stays healthy.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great day.